on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A mostly cloudy and foggy good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Currently 39 degrees at the airport, 40 here at Radio Center. Downtown Midland is at 40 degrees. Downtown Bay City is looking at 39. We do have a northeast breeze, about 10 miles per hour. Barometer is trying to rise just a little bit at 29.70. As what happened yesterday, we do have a high-pressure system off to the north and the northwest of us, but it's really not a determining factor as to our weather, what we're seeing. Actually, we're being ruled by two low-pressure systems. One of them is gradually working its way across Lake Erie right now, which is the reason why we have a northeast breeze. That'll be over New York City later on this afternoon and tonight. The second one is a low-pressure system over Iowa. That is going to be tracking into southern Wisconsin, and then eventually it is going to be moving up through the Traverse City area as we work our way through the day tomorrow. As of right now, there is a warm front that's cutting across the southern third of the Lower Peninsula, and currently we have 50-degree temperatures. 54 right now down in Detroit as well as Ann Arbor. Flint is reporting 51. Howell is looking at 53. Adrian looking at 53 degrees as well. Now over on the west side of the state, even the southwest corner, we're not seeing the temperatures as warm as what they are in the south central and the southeastern part of the state. And the further north you get, the cooler it's getting right now. Cold spot in the state this hour is Rogers City. They're looking at 33. They're going to gradually warm up as we go through the afternoon because that front is eventually going to work its way to the north. The Upper Peninsula, where there's a number of weather advisories in effect as of right now, temperatures are hovering right around that 31, 32, up to about 35 degrees. Menominee right now is reporting 35. What is going to be happening is a continuation of the clouds, the foggy conditions. We just don't have a whole lot of wind to blow this out of here as of right now. And along with it coming the drizzle. We had some thunderstorm activity after sunset last night. Some of you reporting right around 8:30, 9 o'clock, hearing some rumbling out there somewhere, and it was thunder. And a few of you did have the chance to spot some lightning flashes. And along with that came some heavy downpours in a real short period of time, specifically over in the Midland area and Oil City. They were looking at a little bit better than 0.6 of an inch of rain over the last 24 hours. Saginaw at the airport reported just under a half inch. And then you take a look at some of the reporting stations around Saginaw Central. We're looking at precipitation tallies of anywhere from 6,500s down to about 4,200s. Chesaning had just a little bit better than 0.2 of an inch over in Huron County, the Thumb area. Port Austin had 0.3. Bad Axe had about 1/3 of an inch. Fillion reported just under 1/4 of an inch there. Tuscola County, anywhere from 1,500s to 1/4 of an inch. Carroll and Cass City coming in, weighing in on those. The back 40 in Richville, we had just a little bit better than 0.2 of an inch there. Then the further south you get, diminishing amounts of precipitation, 1/10 of an inch, 2/10 of an inch, pretty common. Algonac over in St. Clair County had 1/4 of an inch. The Ann Arbor area had about 1/4 of an inch. Then in Lenawee County, they picked up a little bit more in the way of moisture, with Morenci reporting 0.44 of an inch, and Tecumseh coming in at about 1/3 of an inch there. Northern Michigan, for the most part, not looking at a lot of precipitation. West Branch had 2,200. Standish reported just under 0.3 of an inch. Petoskey, about 0.3 of an inch there. Harrisville, just under 0.2. The Gladwin area, 1/4 of an inch. Gaylord, 1/4 of an inch. Cadillac just under a quarter of an inch, and Atlanta right a little bit more than a third of an inch. So that kind of gives you an idea. Charlevoix had just under a half inch of rain to report there. What's going to be happening, as we indicated, continuation of plenty of clouds, drizzle, very depressing type weather. That's the way it has been, and it will continue to be as we go through at least another 24 hours. We're looking for a high temperature of right around 46 with a low of 33, so it is going to cool down just a little bit because the low pressure systems are going to be moving off to the east and going to be pulling some cooler air down over us. We'll have a west breeze tonight here in the central part of the state, gusting up to about 20 miles per hour with that low of 33. So we'll get a little bit of mixed precipitation tonight. Mostly cloudy, scattered flurries, and a little bit of a mix tomorrow. 36 for a high, 30 for a low. We'll have a southwest breeze going through the day tomorrow and a west breeze tomorrow night. Then on Friday, we're going to be looking at mostly cloudy skies, nothing in the way of moisture. 34, 35 degrees for a high, 28 for a low on Friday. More in the way of clouds on Saturday, but later in the day on Saturday, we'll see some clearing after a high of about 35, 36 degrees on Saturday. It'll drop down to 25 at night with partly cloudy skies. Sunday will start off partly cloudy, then the clouds will be moving in. 38 degrees for a high on Sunday, 38 degrees for a high on Monday. We'll see a little bit more in the way of sunshine to begin the work week next week, and temperatures will be in that mid to upper 30-degree range. Continuation of above average temperatures take us all the way through the 17th of the month. Precipitation values are going to taper off just a little bit. We're looking at below average as we roll through that period of time. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. We'll touch base in a moment with Cody Harris over at Star of the West. We'll see if he can redeem himself a little bit as far as the markets go. Kind of a tough day yesterday. Doug Klein, of course, will be joining us. And then a little bit later on, we'll touch base with Joe Kramer with the Michigan Bean Commission and more. All of that coming up. But first of all, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
Say, do you want to unlock the secret to higher yields? If you're applying dry fertilizer, the key to better yield potential is Titan XC. Titan XC is a fertilizer biocatalyst that unlocks and releases the bound-up nutrients in granular fertilizer, promoting better root uptake and plant growth. Drive performance this season and beyond. Release more nutrition. Expect better results with Titan XC. For more information, visit lpi.ag/unlock or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at the Michael Sarr Crop Insurance Agency. Wishing you a very prosperous new year. Now's the time to be working with a Sarr agency and get your plans lined up as we move into the planting season, which will be here before you know it. Remember, the Michael Sarr Crop Insurance Agency is licensed to serve all of Michigan with both conventional and organic crop insurance. And you can reach their agents directly on their cell phones for questions or emergencies, or you can contact the office in Reese, 989-868-4722. Cody Harris, good morning. How are you?
We're doing well this morning. How about yourself, Terry?
Hey, not too bad. Kind of sounds like a broken record on these markets once again today, huh?
I know. I wish I could bring some good news, but it seems like we're in the same boat as yesterday. This market continues to go in the wrong direction here as we start out the new year, it seems.
And just a continuation of more negative news for the markets overseas and around here?
Oh, yeah. It seems like, especially like yesterday, a lot of outside market pressure really affected the market, and we're definitely seeing that trickle into the market here today. I mean, very almost like you said, a broken record as far as yesterday. I mean, looking at the markets right now, we got cash wheat. That's down 25 here this morning. 706 on the white, 656 on the red. New crop wheat, that's down 23, 744 on the white, 694 on the red. Looking over at cash corn, that's down 14 here this morning at 599. New crop corn is down 10 at 542. Looking over at soybeans, they may have been the big mover yesterday, but they're actually bringing up the rear of the tray as far as the downward movement. Cash soybeans are down 2 at 1408, and I'm going to call new crop soybeans. Those are down 1 here this morning at 1331.
All right, Cody. You take care. Have a good day. We'll talk to you again soon. All righty?
You as well, Terry. Thank you.
You bet. Cody Harris over at Star of the West. Doug Klein joining us right now from Oppenheimer. The Market Report brought to you by the folks at Thumb Bank, serving the needs of agriculture for well over 125 years. When it comes to agricultural financing, they can do it. 2 locations in Bay City, also Cassidy, Caseville, Pigeon, Bad Axe, Marlette. Thumb Bank, where relationships are built on trust. And by Schaefer and Beerline. Are you ready to upgrade a new Ram truck for your family farm? Well, now's the time to order at $1,500, $2,500, or $3,500. So come to Schaefer and Beerline in Frankenmuth, the Great Lakes Bay's certified ag dealer. They specialize in all models of new commercial trucks from Ram and Dodge, as well as the vans. Buy with confidence from Schaefer and Beerline since 1852, where family and service sells cars. All right, Doug, give me the lowdown, and it is low.
That's pretty interesting today. Well, crude oil's down $3.50 today, so that's positive. Our guys kind of thought it would slip into the 60s, maybe $67 at some point during the year, and then rally back into the 90s. So we'll see. Hopefully they're right on the one and wrong on the other, but 73.50 right now, so that's good. China's rebounding big time. Some of the stocks in China up 9, 10, 12%. So they're kind of coming off of a repression from the COVID thing. Who knows where that's going? Stock market's having a decent day, half to 1% higher. That's okay. You'll love this one. A prosecutor in the Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands, was building a case against J.P. Morgan and Jeffrey Epstein, laundering the money for all those very rich people, Clintons, Gates, the whatever, don't even have to mention the names. Well, she got fired, but that's better than falling down the steps.
Well, I was just going to say, at least,
I'm going to say,
at least she has another breath or two, for crying out loud.
Like, this is great. So anyway, mortgage, new mortgages down about 13% year over year. They said that the cost of a new mortgage is 52% higher. The monthly cost of a brand new mortgage is 52% higher than it was 1 year ago. So that really puts the damper on home construction, unless you're paying cash or just loaded beyond loaded. So I don't know. They said this has got another year to work itself through. The real estate has another year to work itself through, and then maybe we'll start seeing a positive trend on real estate by early 24, which kind of coincides with elections. No, it doesn't.
No.
Not at all.
Sounded good, though.
Oh, my. Well, anyway, here's your numbers. March corn, $6.57.5, down 13 cents. September corn, $6.12, down 10 cents. The March soybeans, $14.90 down 2 cents. November soybeans, $13.95 down 1 3/4. March wheat is $7.50 down 25 and July wheat is $7.62 down 23 3/4. Crude oil $73.50 down $3.43. Heating oil is $295.65 down 13 cents. Gasoline $224.14 down 10 cents, and that probably sort of kind of puts us near $2.91 at the pumps. I don't know where they're getting their clues from around here, but I saw it going up, not down. Natural gas is $3.79 3/4. That's up 15 3/4 cents. Currencies: Canadian dollar. U.S. dollar buys 135.02 at the border. That's down 167 ticks. The dollar buys 131.95 yen. That's up 95 ticks. The euro's at 106.17. That's up 71 ticks. The dollar's at 104.19. That's down 33 ticks. Gold's at $1864.50, up $18.40. Silver's $24.33, up a dime. And platinum's at $1084.40. That's up $2.40.
Alrighty, Doug. Hang in there.
Happy with that.
We got another, 300 and some days left
Oh, yeah.
till the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Take her easy.
Okay.
Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Jerry Samolsky joining us right now from Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Well, if you can find your way to the backyard, Jerry, what should we be doing right now?
Hey, Terry, we were talking about staking trees yesterday. And so just to continue on a little bit further. So what happens if you've got a large tree that's blown over, that's been in the ground for a long time, and people say, well, just pull it straight and stake it up and it'll be fine. Well, it will be. But what happens is when something falls over that far and it's big and you stake and you can pull it straight and you can cable it, two things. Number one, you can't put a rope or a string or a cable around the trunk. You'll choke it off, like we talked about yesterday. So if that's the need that you have to do that, then you should drill through the center of it, put an eye bolt on it, and use your cable on the eye bolt to pull it straight. Then the next thing is you need to probably leave it staked for a very long time, years and years and years. One of the things that trees do is they have cues that they send from the top moving. They'll send cues to the root system to put out more roots to hold it up. And when you've cabled something and pulled it so taut, it doesn't move, and so it doesn't get those cues. So to repair those roots that have been severed during a big windstorm, particularly in wet weather, it takes forever to reroot if it ever really does. So sometimes the best course is just to remove it. But staking trees, there's a lot more to it than just throwing a stick in the ground and some bracing around the trunk, huh?
I guess so. And ramming into it when you start mowing the lawn.
Oh, gosh, don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. Was Dad's favorite thing. Lawnmower blight is probably one of the worst diseases around.
Yeah, that's a whole nother program. Jerry, thanks a lot. Take care, all right?
All right, Terry.
Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at the Frankenmuth Credit Union. They do have lines of credit, equipment loans, financing for purchasing land, credit cards, and more. Stop by any of their locations, conveniently located for you, and find out how they can be your hometown financial solution. Or for more information, just go to frankenmuthcu.org. I've got Ed Benkert with me from Nutrient Ag. Happy New Year to you, Ed.
Yeah, same to you, Terry.
Lots of things happen by the end of the year, and it just doesn't quit. You know, I would have to think that if the sun came out tomorrow, there might be some guys want to get on the land already.
You know, it's interesting you brought that up. I was talking with someone this morning, and, you know, even though it's miserable today, April is only 90 plus days away. So, you know, we've got a lot of time here in the next 3 months to get a lot of planning done and sit down with our crop consultants and go over what worked well in 2022 and excuse me, look forward to staying with the same program or maybe trying some new things. There's new products on the market, nitrogen management wise. There's always new seed varieties and different, you know, crop protection and fungicide programs. So that's a lot of what we're working on right now is kind of figuring out what direction we want to go and get a good plan put together and then get the inputs lined up, you know, with your supplier to make sure you can have those on the farm and be ready when April does come around.
No, you're right on when you talk about new products. There's a little bit of education going into some plans for this year, utilizing some of these products that seem to be a lot more efficient.
Yeah, with the cost of, you know, P&K and nitrogen being where they're at right now, I mean, getting efficiencies out of nutrients that we paid for with previous phosphate and potash applications. There are a lot of different products on the market biological wise that we can utilize in a 2x2 or a pop-up to be able to pull out a lot of the nutrients that we've already paid for that are in the soil that are frankly locked up. So yeah, anything we can do to get nutrients out of the soil into the crop and keep it in the crop versus getting in our waterways is always a really good thing.
Sounds great. Ed, you take care. We'll talk to you again, all righty?
Okay. Hey, thank you, Terry.
You bet. Ed Benkert with Nutrient Ag. Let's touch base right now with Joe Kramer with the Michigan Bean Commission. Happy New Year to you, Joe.
Same to you, Terry. I hope you had a nice holiday.
Had a great holiday, enjoyed a lot of baked bean dishes, and
Good.
now we're going to try to get our producers off and running here.
We are. I wanted to mention today that we might be a week or so behind, but we're getting our planning for invites to go out for our annual dry bean and sugar beet symposium coming up in February. So February 21, Tuesday, we're back at the Doubletree in Bay City, and plans are underway. I think we're going to have a really good program, both with our keynote speakers in the morning and some educational sessions in the afternoon, and of course our trade show. And it was well attended last year, our first year at the Doubletree in Bay City, but we really liked the format and a couple of little tweaks, and I think this year will be even better.
We'll look forward to being there for that, Joe. You take care. Have a good day, all right?
Thanks, Terry.
You bet. Joe Kramer with the Michigan Bean Commission. Let's slide over to Maple Hill Nursery. Chuck Cervinsky joining us right now. And Chuck, the new year is kicking off, and the Dairy Dew is in big demand these days, isn't it?
It is. We've got it all in stock. I mean, we're a little early yet, but this warm weather is getting people kind of excited. We've had a lot of calls for the Seed Starter 101, and that's going to be the first one that we'll start selling quite a bit of here shortly.
And I know that they do have a really nice product lineup when it comes to indoor plants.
Definitely. The Flower Dew 201, even though that's a potting soil we sell a lot for outdoor use, is also good for indoor as well.
So at this stage of the game, they can stop by the store, pick some up, and maybe take advantage of some early season pricing.
Definitely. We've got some early season pricing going on all that stuff right now. Like I say, even though it is a little early, we're getting people coming in asking for it right now, and it won't be long before you're going to be starting seeds.
Chuck Cervinsky, always good to talk. We'll talk to you again on Friday, okay?
Okay, have a great day.
I will, you too. Chuck Cervinsky from Maple Hill Nursery. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Quality Roasting of Reese, offering competitive, consistent prices for your soybeans. Give them a call for a quote today. Experience the most reliable RTK signal from PC Ag Solutions, compatible with most GPS receivers. Trade in your old radio or modem and get an affordable subscription through us. We have over 25 base station locations across the Lower Peninsula, and we're always looking to add more to our network. Discover more power, more accuracy, and more coverage with our 450 megahertz signal. Call us to learn more today. PC Ag Solutions, 989-868-4444. Farm Service has been brought to you today by the folks at Steiner Tractor. New parts for old tractors made easy. All you got to do is give them a call at 800-234-3280 or go to steinertractor.com. And by the folks at Ed Raymond's, quality clothing and shoes since 1919. Carhartt's, Red Wing shoes and boots, Stormy Cromer accessories, and a lot more. Available today at Ed Raymond's, 151 West Broad Street in Chesaning. We'll be back at 12:30 with an update, so you stick around for that. Now we conclude our program with a playing of our national anthem.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Lawmakers in the House are reconvening this hour to try again to elect a speaker for the new Republican majority after Kevin McCarthy lost 3 rounds of voting yesterday. GOP Congressman James Comer.
We've got to get to 218. Nobody's going to get everything that they want. I don't think Kevin McCarthy's the perfect speaker, but I believe he's the right person to lead our conference at the right time.
I'm Stephen Portnoy.
It's not a good look.
President Biden tells reporters the world is watching what's happening here in Washington and that it's embarrassing that Republicans have been unable to elect a speaker. He added, quote, "I hope they get their act together." The president spoke before he headed to Kentucky, where he was to appear with top Senate Republican Mitch McConnell to celebrate federal spending on a new bridge connecting Cincinnati and Covington.
Former President Trump urging Republicans to vote for McCarthy, close the deal, and take the victory. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin is still listed in critical condition at a hospital in Cincinnati after he collapsed and went into cardiac arrest after a tackle 2 days ago. His uncle Dorian Glenn is hopeful.
People don't even know us as showing love and support, man, and we're so thankful for that. I know those prayers is helping because he's definitely recovering. God got a mission for him, and that's why he's still here.
There's hopeful news for job seekers in a new report from the Labor Department. CBS's Sarah Ewell-Weiss.
There were nearly 10.5 million job openings in the final day of November. That's roughly 1.75 jobs for every unemployed person in the United States.
It's a different story in the tech industry. Salesforce says it's laying off 10% of its workers and reducing office space in some markets. The U.S. Embassy in Cuba is issuing visas again today for the first time since a series of mysterious attacks on American diplomats 6 years ago. Correspondent Cammie McCormick reports.
Cubans are now the second largest nationality after Mexicans appearing at the U.S. border. It's the largest exodus from Cuba in decades. And the U.S. Embassy in Havana could issue 20,000 visas a year. Visa services were stopped after U.S. Embassy personnel suffered a series of health problems in 2017. Some alleged sonic attacks, many of which remain unexplained.
In the UK, the Harry Potter books were one thing, but security surrounding the release of a royal tell-all by another Harry may rival the J.K. Rowling series.
It becomes a point when silence is betrayal.
The Times of London reports publishers of Prince Harry's memoir Spare are sparing no expense to prevent leaks ahead of next Tuesday's release. Penguin Random House will reportedly deliver hard copies to bookstores last minute. This is
Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Cloudy skies, fog, and 41 degrees at 12:03. Good afternoon. I'm Mike Percha. Fire crews in Bay City responded to a structure fire Sunday. It occurred at a commercial building in the 700 block of Washington Avenue around 1:20 a.m. The fire was quickly put out. No one was injured. It's still under investigation. Police in Flint Township are investigating a crash that claimed the life of a 41-year-old man from Mount Morris. The crash happened Monday around 12:15 p.m. when Adrian Huffman was driving south on I-75 near Pasadena Road. Police say Huffman's vehicle left the road and crashed into a tree. He died at the scene. Police say speed is a likely factor in the crash. Huffman was the lone occupant of the vehicle. Human resources recruiters and nursing leaders and managers will be offering on-the-spot interviews during a recruitment fair next week at My Michigan Health Centers across the region. Anyone interested in nursing or patient care technician positions at My Michigan Health Centers in Midland, Mount Pleasant, West Branch, Alpena, and Sault Ste. Marie can get information on open positions January 11th from 6 to 8 p.m. My Michigan Health offers competitive wages, benefits, paid vacations, and holidays, and some positions may be eligible for sign-on bonuses. Attendees should bring a resume and be prepared for an interview during the event. For more information, visit mymichigan.org/careers. Michigan is not one of the most desired states to live in, according to a new study. In fact, a high number of people are moving away from the state. Here's Michigan News Network's Alexis Ware.
Michigan ranks at number 4 most moved from states in the nation last year, according to a study done by United Van Lines, the nation's largest household goods mover. According to the study, 58% of Michigan's moves were outbound, making for more moves from the state than into the state. Right above Michigan for most moved from states are New Jersey, Illinois, and New York. I'm Alexis Ware for the Michigan News Network.
WSGW News Time, 12:05, and now for today's weather forecast. Cloudy skies, areas of fog, light showers and drizzle with high of steady to mid-40s. This evening, light showers and drizzle as well, low of 34. Cloudy tomorrow, chance of mixed precipitation or even some possible snow showers with a high of 38. And on Friday, cloudy skies with a high of 37 degrees. This is WSGW, your connection to the Great Lakes Bay region, your connection to the world.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Are you ready?
Jamie Markley, David Van Camp, and Scott Robbins.
We just become best friends, yep.
Making sense of it all.
Now I get it.
And having some fun.
Lighten up, Francis.
This is the Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins Show.
All right, let's do it. The Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins Show. Jamie Markley, David Van Camp, Scott Robbins. A lot to get to today. David Van Camp's having some fun with everything happening on Capitol Hill.
Oh yeah, it's just a barrel of monkeys, man. I love this.
Some people are really fretting. What's going on? We need to band together as a party. Like Kevin McCarthy.
Nope. Don't have to, actually.
More on that in a little bit. Well, we're talking border crisis here, right?
Yeah. Well, the new talking point, and they've settled on this at the White House. Is that this little, historic border crisis that we've got going on? If you mention that it's a crisis, and boy, it seems like the border's pretty open to me.
Yep.
You're spreading disinformation, says Karine Jean-Pierre.
Roll it.
When you think about the smugglers, really putting a plan in place that we deal with the smugglers, right? And we have to be very careful here, Peter, on how we talk about this, because if we talk about it in a way that is misinformation, then it helps the smugglers.
Yeah.
And so these are the issues that the president has.
Well, hold on. Unreal. Holy smokes. We're early into 2023, and Robbins has had it with this done. Dang. You just want to help the smugglers, Scott. That's what you're all about. Oh, my God. Yes.
Is taken incredibly seriously. And again, I will say this, I just said it moments ago, he's willing to work with Republicans, he's willing to work with Democrats, he's willing to work with independents to work on this issue, to move forward with his comprehensive plan that he put forward on day one of his administration.
As long as that comprehensive plan includes amnesty and includes a pathway to citizenship for people who came in here illegally, it's no good.
Dude, I'm so tired of it. Kicking this can down the road, and it's been for 18 years at least. On and on and on. And no one ever wants to do anything about it unless they're in power and get the, quote, political win. Unless the corporations that really own these parties tell them, whoa, wait a second, this is helping our business. Right. You need to vote a certain way. Then they'll do it because they're just pawns, spineless pawns. And it's one thing after another. And now, this is only helping the smugglers.
So if we don't talk about what we see, that puts the smugglers in a bad spot. But if we talk about what we see, then that's a win for the smugglers.
Apparently. That's the new talking point.
That's mind-numbing, man.
Yes, it is.
Holy cow.
Yeah. It just sort of goes on, and people still feel hopeless in a way because nothing is done about this particular issue, along with several others. But, I'm hearing reports, whether it's New York, different states, about fentanyl being a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like locally, even statewide across the United States, there is talk of the fentanyl crisis and how many people it's killing.
Yeah.
But you don't hear it on a national level.
No. I mean, isn't that pretty shocking? Is that when you're talking about people under the age of 50, opioid overdoses are the number one cause of death.
Yes.
And could you imagine if we had a ticker on CNN like they did with COVID that is tracking every single overdose? Why won't they do it? I mean, there are stories occasionally on national news, but man, it's mostly local, and you're right, statewide. I mean, this is it is really sad to me. I was driving just over the winter break and seeing a couple of different billboards just warning about fentanyl, and it's put on by nonprofit organizations, rehab facilities, things like that. And I remember years ago that it was the same thing. Like if you drive through Oklahoma, Missouri, you have these warning signs about methamphetamine, and yet that somehow doesn't really dominate the American news cycle.
No, it doesn't.
It's shocking that that's reality for millions of Americans.
Yes.
And no one seems to really care.
But we know why it's not covered, because it would be bad politically for the left.
Right.
Because, I mean, just play out that story. Okay, we're going to start talking about fentanyl deaths. How does it get into the United States? Well, it starts in China. Then it goes through Mexico with the cartels, and it comes up through the southern border. So what would that mean? Well, my goodness, we got to secure the border. They don't want to do it. So let's just ignore that. Who cares if a bunch of Americans are dying?
If we talk about fentanyl, more people will use fentanyl.
Right.
I mean, if you want to follow that line of logic a bit further, there you go.
Well, that goes right hand in hand with the logic that we see a lot of times from lefties in D.C. I mean, it was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez who said, hey, if you want to reduce the prison population, just stop building prisons.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's unreal. That's just the way that thing goes. But that's another reason why it's so frustrating. But again, man, with national news especially, it's not really about news. It's what stories they want to cover to frame a narrative. I mean, it's essentially propaganda. So there you go. Wow. Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, and that was the big story last night, and then even this morning on the major networks, was Republicans in disarray.
Right.
Because Kevin McCarthy was supposed, I mean, he already moved into the office to be Speaker of the House, yet he doesn't have the votes from the Republicans.
Yeah.
And you have these 19 or 20 rogue Republicans that are not voting for him.
Yeah.
And you're loving this thing to the dismay of several Republicans.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of conservative no. But it is interesting to me that there are a lot of conservative commentators about these 20 or so rogue Republicans using the exact same language that we mocked Bernie Sanders for when he was talking about Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, when he was saying 2 senators do not have the right to tank these votes. And it's like, well, actually, Senator, it was 52 total who were voting against all of these, like Build Back Better and whatnot, and killing the filibuster. So that's just called basic math. Well, in this case, yeah, you got a majority of the Republican conference, but sorry, you don't have the majority of the House of Representatives to back them up. So that's just math.
Yes.
I mean, and what is wrong with actually having a deliberative body actually deliberate things, actually argue things? What is wrong with that?
I think the argument is, and it's not one that I necessarily support, but you've heard it, is that the Republicans are showing everyone they can't govern. They can't get together on this.
They're not going to govern anyway. I mean, okay, you have a majority in the House of Representatives, barely, in what should have been a wave election year, and you screwed the pooch on that in the House of Representatives. But you have a Democrat-controlled Senate, and you have a Democrat-controlled White House. What? The only argument I keep hearing over and over again is like, well, what about these investigations into Fauci and into Mayorkas and all that stuff? Okay, so you have these investigations. What happens next? I'll tell you what happens next. Nothing. Because nothing comes out of those things.
That's a point that not many people talk about. The other point to me is a guy like Kevin McCarthy. You have conservatives, right, that vote for conservatives to do a job when they go to D.C. And then when they just kowtow to the Republican machine, everyone's disappointed.
Yeah.
So the most I hear about as far as this shows the Republicans can't govern, it seems to me is more from people that are concerned about the Republican Party than doing what's right.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of us are like, after the omnibus bill was passed, and I understand you're talking about a difference between the Senate and the House, but come on, it's all the same, isn't it, when you're talking about Republicans and Democrats? Okay, they pass it. You had all these Republicans vote for it to get it through. What, so they could get home for Christmas? It screwed people. They should never have voted for that, ever. And so you have people very upset about it. It doesn't get all that much play in national media, but that's the truth. And so you have people like Boebert and Chip Roy and Matt Gaetz saying, no, I'm not voting for Kevin McCarthy because it's more of the same. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, and then, I don't know if you saw what was going on with Trump yesterday. People were asking Trump, are you still supporting my Kevin, as Trump has called him in the past, Kevin McCarthy, to be speaker? And at first, the reports were Trump was saying, let's see what happens.
Right. Right. Not always the best guy to be fighting in the trenches with.
But then he comes back around and says, yes, my support. And then Matt Gaetz from Florida was told of that. And he said in a statement, sad, ! Which is sort of Trumpian.
Yeah, very much.
And then said, this changes neither my view of McCarthy nor Trump nor my vote. And he ain't getting Gates' vote.
No.
But one of the people that voted against Kevin McCarthy was on Fox and Friends this morning with Kilmeade, and they were going back and forth. The guy's like, nah, not doing it.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Well, the thing is, the no vote increased after each vote.
Right.
It didn't decrease.
Well, the other part of this, we can get into it later, and some people are starting to vote for Jim Jordan from Ohio.
Yeah, even though he said he doesn't want it.
And there's an old theory, and when you watch it over time, at least for me, my own opinion, it seems to be true. Sometimes the best leaders are the ones that really don't want it, but do it out of a sense of duty. The people that want to be leaders so badly oftentimes don't make the best leaders. Because why do they want it so badly?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's because Kevin McCarthy is dying to fight for the American people every day? Give me a friggin' break.
He wants to put it on his Facebook profile. It'll look good. Speaker of the House.
A totally different story out there. The homeless problem is not going away anytime soon. We know that, especially big cities and the big cities on the West Coast. So I see this headline of a homeless woman describing her lifestyle. And she says 3 meals a day, and I don't have to do bleep.
Oh, boy.
Well, and kind of sets up what her day looks like as a homeless person. And for those of us that have followed this for a while, it's not going to be a surprise. For a whole lot of people in the United States, I think it will be. I have the actual audio from this lady. I think I can get it edited in time to play it within the next 10 minutes. I mean, you got to roll the dice, right?
Right.
I think I can find the beeps to beep out the right parts.
Okay.
Just trust me on things.
Okay.
A little trust, huh? This is the Mark Van Camp and Robin Show.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible sale prices from General Steel. That's right. Start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 866-95-STEEL to see how General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 866-95-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 866-95-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building, fast and easy. Call 866-95-STEEL. That's 866-957-8335. 866-95-STEEL.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Hey, listener. Welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it.
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
RocketGrabPlus.com. A perfect time to save money. So why would you pay full price when you know you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? Check out all of our deals going on right now from Super Cute in Freeland, The Bearded Axe, Patriot Carpet Cleaning, Applied Training Solutions, and West Side Decorating. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Make a New Year's resolution that's easy to keep. Help protect your identity and finances with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. LifeLock detects identity threats you may miss on your own. And if you become a victim, LifeLock will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. Join now and save up to 25% off your first year. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS.
People are always talking about the stock market, always looking to invest in a good opportunity, something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock where you invest to make money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps students like me go to college, which ends up making the future better for everybody. I could be the first college graduate in my family, the first district attorney for my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there will be a second and a third. This can really be the start of something. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
The Saginaw Spirit play here.
Minchikong's able to find Perek towards the net. A shot, and he scores! Zane Perek on the power play. The Spirit strike first.
The Saginaw Spirit will try to make it 5 wins in a row when they visit the Windsor Spitfires on Wednesday night. Tune in for all the action beginning at 6:50 p.m. on 100.5 FM News Radio WSGW. The Spirit are back home both Friday and Saturday night. Visit SaginawSpirit.com for ticket information.
It's Saginaw Spirit Hockey on WSGW.
Yep. The Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins Show. Jamie Markley, David Van Camp, Scott Robbins. Probably saw the update. Buffalo Bills player DeMar Hamlin, his uncle said he is showing some signs of improvement. That's good news.
Yeah, it is.
Certainly not out of the woods, but any news, good news when it comes to that story. We'll get into more of that a little bit later on. I'd mentioned this has been making the rounds on some social media. It's an interview with a homeless woman in Portland. And, in the story, they bring up Michael Schellenberger did a whole piece about the homeless in San Francisco. He wrote a book about it. Yeah. How what we're doing is making the problem worse. To me, that's common sense. The safe places for drug addicts, you just encourage people to use drugs.
Yeah.
How are you going to get people off drugs and back into society with a job and self-sufficient? I don't understand how that's supposed to work. It's never been clear to me, but it certainly doesn't work. And so in this interview, you got this person that's interviewing a woman named Wendy who just lives in a tent in Portland and wants to know, well, what is life like as far as, day to day? I think I got the bad word out.
Oh, boy.
One. We'll see. Roll it.
So how is it like being homeless in Portland?
It's a piece of cake, really. I mean, that's why you probably got so many out here, because they feed you 3 meals a day. You don't have to do shit but stay in your tent or party. Or if you smoke a lot of dope, you can do that. What else? What else, Melissa? What else do I say? I'm being interviewed.
Just trying to paint the picture. Wants a little input. Likes to collaborate, Wendy does. Do you have friends that are living the same life? And she goes on to say,
that's really it. It's like you wake up, you go eat at Blanche, get high. Go eat at Blanche for lunch, get high. Go eat dinner, get high. And that's all you do all day long, every day. I'm being honest.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
Does it feel like that's really helping anybody?
It's not. That's why you see all the tents.
Right.
Yeah. Because you can go to a place where you can get, a couple hot meals a day, and that's basically it. Your basic needs are met.
If you're a drug addict, that's a dream.
Yeah.
You're going to get fed? Oh, my goodness.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
Does it feel like that's really helping anybody?
No.
It's not.
And knows it. And what was the last thing she said?
People are up all night. Okay? People are up all night, sleep all day.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing, Derek.
Well.
Up all night, sleep all day. We used to think only rock stars got to do that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Was that really a reason to bring back the Slaughter Classic?
Well,
maybe not, but I'm taking it.
They paid for their own way, though.
Yes, they did.
There was some marketable ability there.
I think that album was at least platinum, maybe double platinum. I don't know.
Anyway. The guys in Slaughter were not sleeping in tents, getting up, getting high.
No.
No,
they were not.
They might have gotten up and gotten high, but they showed up the next night to play.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Rocking. Okay. What's going to happen? When are people going to wake up to this?
I don't know. I think there's this weird combination at play here. I think there are a lot of people who really believe in their heart that they are doing good things when they provide these types of services. I really do. I think there are people who think I am helping somebody. And then there are people who, I don't know, we may refer to as the experts in all of this, who actually, at least based on their actions, I believe, want this stuff. They want this stuff because broken people are easy to control.
That's the only thing that makes sense in all of this, David. It sounds crazy, but that is really true.
If you are desperate and addicted and lonely, then you are the most malleable person on the planet.
Yes.
Take away your agency, and then you become a tool.
Yes. What else makes sense? Don't you want these people to get better? We all have a heart for the homeless. I was just talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and he is a God-fearing man. And we were going back and forth. He said, I feel like some of these people, I'm going to give them $1, and I'm going to ask them their name, and I'm going to pray for them. And sometimes I'll say, what's your name? I want to pray for you. And people say, yes, please pray for me. And he feels that's what he this. And just making the problem worse because most people know where to go.
Well, if
to
you
get services that can help them.
Right. If you're receiving everything to sustain yourself and offering up nothing in return.
Yeah.
Then whether you're a child and you're a parent and trying to govern your children, or you're what you remember when you were a kid, you can't have everything you want.
Oh, another drop in the Twitter files. Did you hear about that? All about the FBI next.
Mostly cloudy skies. We currently have a rain shower here at Radio Center. Out at the airport, 39 degrees here at Radio Center with a heavy downpour, 40. We're looking at 40 degrees in downtown Midland, 40 degrees downtown Bay City. Forecast coming up in a moment. But first of all, let's take a look at the markets, where we're headed. Right now, we're looking at plenty of negatives. According to MAC in Breckenridge, the wheat is down. That would make the white wheat at $6.99, the red wheat at $6.64. The new crop is at $7.62 for the white wheat, $7.02 for the red. Corn is down 14. That would make it $6.11 on the nearby, $5.36 on the new. And the soybeans down 6 at $14.35. The new crop also down at $13.32. Over to New York, where we're looking at positives. Right now, according to Baird & Company, the Dow is up 234, 33,370, right around 356 million shares. The NASDAQ is up 108 at 10,495, 457 million. The S&P is currently up 44. That would make it 3868. A number of weather advisories, all of them in the Upper Peninsula, and in some cases, the west and west central portions of the Upper Peninsula. Snow, 4 to 6 inches as we go through the remainder of the day today and tonight. For much of lower Michigan, though, it's just plain old rain, and we're not anticipating any icing to occur until maybe later on tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, when the temperatures will be dropping. We'll be back with more in a moment.
This season, get medieval on Rhizoctonia with the powerful protection of Excalia fungicide from Valent USA. Here to shield your sugar beets from the treachery of Rhizoctonia, Excalia delivers excellent staying power, keeping your sugar beets from being conquered. Stay one step ahead of Rhizoctonia with the powerful protection of Excalia. Ask your retailer or visit valent.com/Excalia to learn more. Always read and follow label instructions.
At Staples, you can count on every project being print perfect, guaranteed.
I need presentations and brochures printed, and they have to be perfect.
Your bounded presentations, brochures with the finest folds, and more will be done right every time. That's our Print Big promise. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more, plus 20% back via store bonus. Try Staples and see the difference. Ends 2/11. Rewards members only. Bonus must be redeemed in store. See staples.com/stores/printbig for details.
Market Report brought to you by the folks at Krijak's House Family Restaurant. If you've got an event coming up in 2023 and you need to have someone supply the food for you, think first of Krijak's House. 989-894-5531. That's the telephone number. Just tell them what you want, how many people you're going to be serving. Pick it up on the day of the event, take it, and you will be a hero at that event. Krijak's House, also a great place to dine in. Corner of Cass in Michigan on Bay City's south side. Not much of a breeze out there, but what is, it's coming out of the north. This hour about 13 miles per hour, 29.67 now and falling is the barometric pressure. We do have a low pressure system to the west and eventually in the northwestern part of the lower peninsula through the night tonight and during the day tomorrow. That's why right now we do have that northeast breeze. Another low pressure system is moving away from us. So that's generating the northeast breeze. Eventually, though, as we move through the nighttime hours, that breeze will become more westerly, and we will be looking at still some spotty shower activity, maybe a little bit of snow mixed in, because after a high of 46, we'll drop down to 33 for a low overnight. Sun will set this evening at 5:13, rise tomorrow morning at 8:09. During the day tomorrow, clouds, scattered flurries, a little bit of a mix here and there as the temperatures warm up, starting with a low of right around 33. We'll only get up to about 36, looking for a low tomorrow night of 30. Southwest breeze tomorrow becoming westerly again as that low pressure system moves to the north and the west of us. Not a real good chance of precipitation as we move through the day, but in the early morning hours, that's when we're going to have the best chance of seeing that happen. On Friday, 34 for a high, mostly cloudy skies. We're not looking for anything in the way of moisture. A west breeze about 5 to 10 miles per hour on Friday. Still cloudy on Friday night, 28 for a low. Saturday, we'll try to squeeze some sun out, I think late, maybe right around sunset. We'll have a chance of seeing some sun. Middle 30s for a high, middle 20s for a low. And then as we move into the day on Sunday, we'll have more in the way of sun until later in the day. Upper 30s for a high, upper 20s for a low. That's a look at the market's weather at the bottom of the hour. More Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins now on WSGW.
The Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins Show. I'm Jamie Markley. That's David Van Camp. There's Scott Robbins. News update, David Van Camp.
Chip Roy, Republican representative out of Texas, happens to be my representative. He is one of the 20 GOP rebels who is holding up the ascendancy of Kevin McCarthy to be Speaker of the House. They are voting no. They are blocking his election to lead the House of Representatives. And to me, I think the real end game in this is to just kind of tell big money people in politics, you don't get to control us.
I love that.
We're going to do what you can do. And I know there are a lot of people who are upset about this, a lot of conservatives. They're making a mockery of the process. Well, I kind of think backroom deals tend to make a mockery of what's supposed to be the process. I'm not naive enough to think that hasn't been going on for a long time.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, if you can actually air out grievances and get people to say where they are on any particular issue and push people as you represent the people who sent you to Washington, push leadership closer to where you are, do it. What's the point of being a representative if you're not going to represent people who elected you?
I mean, when you're reading stories about the start of the country and through the 1800s and the back and forth that used to happen all the time, that was sort of what the country was built on, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Chip Roy nominated Byron Donalds for Speaker, and it was kind of amazing as he tried to appeal to the Democrats, perhaps, about this. Here we go.
Now, here we are, and for the first time in history, there have been 2 Black Americans placed into the nomination for Speaker of the House.
See? So if you don't vote for Byron Donalds, you're racist, clearly. You know,
wow.
Just saying.
Turn that right around on him, huh? Wow. You know what? With that story, I have something to add on to that, David, within the next 10 minutes as part of our What's Your Story? Just interesting as far as race and how it plays out in politics and sometimes with corporations. Really interesting. Okay, before we get there, I mentioned the Twitter files, another drop. Matt Taibbi again was the one that released the 11th installment of the Twitter files. And what it talks about in this one, I got the story from Daily Wire, says in August 2017, when Facebook decided to suspend 300 accounts with suspected Russian origin, Twitter wasn't worried. That's what Taibbi writes. Its leaders were sure they didn't have a Russian problem. But Twitter was so sure they had no Russia problem, execs agreed the best PR strategy was to say nothing on record and quietly hurl reporters at Facebook. It was them.
Yeah.
And it seemed to work. Public Policy VP Colin Crowell wrote in an email back in 2017, Twitter is not the focus of inquiry into Russian election meddling right now. The spotlight is on Facebook because Facebook has better targeting ability than we have for campaign-related advertising. And because the Trump campaign spent massively on Facebook during the election compared to what they spent with us. Well, I guess wouldn't that have been easy to argue? The Trump campaign didn't have to spend a whole lot on Twitter because Trump dominated Twitter.
Right. I mean, there are a lot of people who signed up for Twitter just to follow like whether they loved him or hated him, they wanted to follow whatever it was that he was saying.
Yes. But then there were more and more PR problems because you had Democrats saying, no, Twitter's part of this too. So the story goes on, and growing anxiety over its PR problems, Twitter formed a Russia task force to proactively self-investigate. The Russia task force started mainly with data shared with counterparts at Facebook, centered around accounts supposedly tied to Russia's Internet Research Agency. And this is all part of basically how the intelligence community got into Twitter. And we know where that ended up when you get to 2020 and beyond, where they were calling a lot of shots and telling Twitter, you need to basically ramp this down or just shut it off all together, like they did the New York Post story on Hunter Biden. So there's going to be a whole lot more coming out on this. And at least word is there's going to be more about Fauci by the end of the week from the Twitter files. Which, are you just done with Fauci? Because I want to see more of it. And I think it's important because I think there's so many people in America that don't know the depth of Fauci and what went on with the Wuhan lab.
No, I want the reckoning. I want the reckoning. Yes, we deserve the reckoning.
You know,
for all the misery.
I guess it's one of those things where opponents to you will say it's just vindictive. You just want someone to pay for something. I'm serious, man. I just want to know the truth.
Yeah.
What was the truth? And that's it. But when you see so many reports that legacy media have stuffed down on, say, Fauci himself, you just want it to see the light of day.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. Anyway, it's time to move on. Something we do every day at this time is what's your story? And that is different stories that we see around. May not be the biggest story of the day, but it caught your attention. Today, David, what's your story?
Today, my story is probably my favorite story of the day, actually. It was an indigenous activist who led some sort of art collective in Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And turns out she's a white lady.
What?
Okay, I just want to read you the story. This is Madison365.com reporting on this. Early in 2020, an indigenous artist urged the owners of a new music venue in town to change its name. It was called the Winnebago, after the street on which it stands. But many indigenous people and allies let the owners know. Sorry, that always cracks me up when it's like allies. Yes. Let the owners know that it wasn't the best name for a white-owned music venue. It's named after the freaking street. Now, one of the activists who was bullying the owners of the venue was named, I'm going to butcher the name, I got to be honest with you. It's Nibiwakamigwe.
Nibby.
Yeah.
Sure.
Founding member and co-owner of the Queer Indigenous Artists Collective and a budding leader of Madison's indigenous arts community. But after several months, the venue did actually relent, rebranded as the Burr Oak. And what Nibiwakamigwe said at the time was, I'm glad the owners have decided to no longer profit from the identities of indigenous people. The name is going, but I'm not happy. The institutions that allowed it to be stolen in the first place remain. For over 500 years, indigenous peoples have not controlled our narratives and representations. Okay, but her actual name is Kay LeClaire, and she's a white lady.
Actually, no.
Now,
Nibby is actually Kay?
Yeah, it's Kay LeClaire. And it's really funny because since at least 2017, she has claimed multiple tribal connections. She's also said that she's Cuban and that she's Jewish. She is none of those things. But here's the thing. Oh, yeah. Also, she's Two-Spirit.
Of course.
Because, you know, that's a thing.
Right.
Sounds like she's Seven-Spirit.
Yeah. Right. Well, exactly. She's got a lot of spirits going around between her ears.
Right.
That's true. Now, actually, somebody online just said something's not right about this, and the person didn't even identify themselves, but just on some blog message board tracked her genealogy and says, hey, wait a minute, you're like French Canadian. Like, you're not you're not
Rachel
any of the,
Dolezal is saying you're ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. The craziest thing, though, is that she was actually somebody who had a paid residency at the University of Wisconsin. She also was on the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women Task Force and had a bunch of speaking gigs and art exhibitions and a platform and trust of a community, particularly woke white liberals who believed her. There were actual Indigenous artists who said, I never really wanted to call her out on it, but some of the things that she would say just didn't make any sense because that's not how you would identify, this particular tribe or as a member of this particular tribe, but they just kind of went along with it. But all the white liberals just were buying the crap that she was making, saying it's an Indigenous art piece. My pronouns are they, them.
I'm going to change all my passwords to Nibia Art today. It's fantastic.
Anyway, that's my story for the day.
That's a great
story.
Yes, it is.
Oh, man, I got to follow that.
I want to see Elizabeth Warren comment on that,
Right.
And that's when the tears came.
Yeah, I bet. All right, what's your story, Scott?
Gays Against Groomers has issued a big announcement.
Yeah.
They have said we have thwarted the attempt to put together a Guinness Book of World Records largest drag queen story hour in St. Petersburg, Florida. They canceled it because of some pressure that was being put on. The event was to be, quote, a fabulous family-friendly celebration of literacy. That's been canceled. Stupid Gays Against Groomers. Stop it. Maybe it's just as well, though. Maybe they can actually teach kids how to read. But again, that wouldn't be fabulous. But hey,
the whole family friendly with the drag get-togethers.
Yeah, the world's largest, by the way, according to Guinness Book of World Records. Yes.
Wow. My story today is, I'm going to tell you, it doesn't have much news value. I'll go ahead and say it. And I'm switching gears here because I think a laugh is good.
All right.
And I'll get to the update on your story earlier, David, in the next 10 minutes. But I saw the story of the funniest ways guys injured themselves in 2022. Not just themselves, but that part of themselves.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, God, I love these.
That's the thing. Every guy winces when you hear about it, yet you can't stop laughing.
No, you can't.
It's like when your buddy took a shot there, and they're like, oh, in pain, but you can't help but laugh.
Right.
It's this odd thing. So this was all highlighted. Like a guy went to the ER because he scrubbed himself too hard with a loofah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Now, this sounds like it could actually happen. A guy was using a French press when it shattered and spilled hot coffee right on himself.
Like, ow. Dang.
Every dad has had their kid rack him somehow.
Oh, yeah.
This dad got karate chopped in the groin by his kid.
Went to the hospital?
10 days later, he went to the ER because he kept thinking the pain's going to go away, and it didn't.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Yeah. There's another one. A guy was sitting on the toilet holding a nail file, leaned forward to grab toilet paper, stabbed himself. I'm not believing that one. There's a lot of these. You're like, okay, what really happened?
Gosh.
Oh, like one guy said, well, I was having a pillow fight with his dog.
What happened to
He
him?
said the dog lunged for the pillow and bit him there.
Uh-huh.
No.
Just ignore that jar of peanut butter, okay? Don't worry about it. I'm on a
Guys,
snack.
at what point in your life are you sitting there going, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that jar of peanut butter. I mean, you make that decision. You say, this is where I am in my life.
One guy said he got it caught in the car door.
How'd that happen?
Another one said he got it caught in a dishwasher door. One got it slammed in the fridge.
Oh,
wear some pants. It goes on and on. One guy actually admitted he was using a pump and suddenly heard a pop.
Oh gosh.
With the pump? A pump pop?
I'm not an expert on such things, but it didn't sound good.
Dang.
Heard a pop.
There's a Jiffy Pop joke in there somewhere. I know it.
Yeah. And then
No, what?
how do you get a wedding ring stuck there? It seems like Is his nickname Pencil? How does that work?
That's just
Don't ever take it off, honey.
The guy was watching football, racked and just on and on. News updates straight ahead.
I didn't think it was possible to meet someone like Susan. We just clicked after realizing we each have a strong sense of self and share the same core values in life.
After taking our advanced personality test, Daniel and Susan matched on Silver Singles, the secure dating site for 50-plus singles who know what they want. Sign up today at silversingles.com/chat. That's silversingles.com/chat.
Paid actors representing true customer testimonials. Names have been changed.
Hey, I'm Andy, and every morning I wake up thinking about shaving. When I started Harry's almost a decade ago, the shaving industry was a mess. Flashy, overpriced razors as far as the eye could see. I just wanted a great shave at a fair price. Too much to ask? I didn't think so, and that's why I started Harry's. 10 years and 20 million Harry's customers later, we're still obsessed with giving you a quality shave experience. Sharper blades, a better lubricating strip, and making our handle grippy in all the right places. All upgrades based on your feedback. And it all comes at a great price. Seriously, as low as $2 per cartridge. These days, my mornings are a little bit different. Good morning, girls. But I still wake up thinking about shaving. Our starter set has everything you need for a close, comfortable shave. 5-blade German-engineered razor, weighted handle, and shave gel. Get yours now for just $3 with free shipping, backed by our quality guarantee. Just go to harrys.com now and enter code EXCEPTIONAL at checkout. That's harrys.com, code EXCEPTIONAL.
Asthma symptoms can attack anywhere, like on a city street. Now, you can get fast relief anywhere with new improved Primatene Mist, the only FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. So whether you need relief of symptoms at the park or at your kitchen table, Primatene Mist starts working quickly, opening up your airways to restore free breathing. For temporary relief of mild symptoms of intermittent asthma,